Welcome to Homesteading with the Brewers. This is Lacey. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please like this video. It really helps us out and it'll make it to where I can make some more in the future. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about raw diet for your fur babies, your dogs particularly. I haven't started with the cats yet, so we'll just start with this. As you know, from the homemade dog treats video that I had posted recently, we have a big fur baby named Clipper. He is a chocolate lab. Well, he's not just chocolate lab and hound like we thought. We just learned that he is chocolate lab and German short-haired pointer mix. They call them German short-haired labs. He was suffering recently with some pretty bad skin conditions. I'll tell you, it looked like he had mange, but that wasn't it. Vet told us it was definitely a food allergy. So we changed his kibble, and we got one of the expensive brands. It was a salmon and pea recipe for sensitive skin, and you know what? It improved greatly. He was so skinny, he couldn't eat. He was just having a really hard time. We recently we found another baby that we're going to be getting very soon. He's not quite five weeks old yet. And this particular breed of fur baby we're going to be bringing home is his mom and his dad and previous litters have been fed a raw diet. And talking with the breeder, came across this diet and how good it is for your dog, and I've done a lot of research, and I decided that we were going to go ahead and try it on Clipper to see if we could give him a little bit of his vitality back. I mean, his hair had grown back, he was starting to put on weight, so I'm not saying that food was bad. We both felt like he could use more energy. He just lays around all the time. And the breeder said that we needed to try this, so we have been. And the results have been amazing. Almost night and day with him. He's putting on weight, which the diet I've been giving him is designed for that. Here's a little bit of information about the raw diet, okay? As you can see, everything on this plate is raw meat. Is it dangerous to handle raw meat? Absolutely. Do you handle raw meat when you're cooking for your family? Probably. So there's some guidelines to follow that you should be aware of before you're doing the raw diet, like washing your hands, sanitizing, not cross-contaminating. A lot of people will say, oh, well, what about salmonella? What about this? What about that? There have been so many recalls on dry dog food, not just recalls, but what about, the dogs that were being killed? Chinese chicken jerky, that's ringing some pretty big bells for me. I had a childhood dog that had some bad dog food and he had to be put down. It tore him up from the inside. He was throwing up blood. It was terrible. So it's very hard to trust some of these. But that's what we're taught to do. But here's the thing, and one of the things that vets will say is that if raw food was so bad, there would be no wild dogs. There would be no wolves. There would be no foxes. And we feed our dogs like we feed ourselves. And we shouldn't. Do they get a little fruit and veg? Absolutely. In the wild, they do. They forage for berries. They forage for root veggies and stuff. That happens. More, though, what happens is they eat an animal who has already digested those fruits and veggies in their own stomach because they're usually omnivores. Dogs are carnivores. Look at the shape of their teeth and look at ours. Dogs are not built for eating any of this. Even the kibble, they don't even have to chew it. They don't get the muscle gain in their mouths from eating kibble. Half the time, my dog doesn't even chew it. He just swallows it. So there's no exercise there. You know, so you may even have an overweight dog. That's the opposite problem of what we have, but I see it a lot. I see a lot of really fat dogs, and that has become like the normal thing. That's not normal. Having a fat dog is not normal, and it's not good for their health. It's as good as for their health as it is for ours. So they're not living as long. They're starting to be afflicted with diseases that you see in us. You know, diabetes. Recently lost a cat to diabetes. We had no idea he was diabetic. That's a hard pill to swallow, because they put stuff in the food that is not meant for carnivores. They don't have the ability to process the grains that are in these foods. And you can go grain-free, and that's great if you can do that. But this is a better alternative. And cost-effective? Absolutely. This is costing me the same as his expensive dog food I have to give him. The exact same, and it's better for him. Okay, so let's get to this. His diet, the way that we work it out, because the big question is how much do you feed your dog? What is the proper amount? Okay, so how we figured this out is we took Clipper's weight. Okay? And then you are going to feed your dog, if you want him to gain weight, 3% of his body weight. And that will allow him, you know, to put on weight. Also, you need to monitor your dog, because some dogs' metabolisms are really high, and they have to do 3% anyway just to maintain their weight. So this is something that you have to do over a period of time. If you notice your dog is still really hungry like Clipper was, I had to increase what I was giving him, because he was still very, very hungry when I started this, because I only started this at 2% of his body weight, and he was needing more. So at 3%, and he's steadily been pretty good on this. What this diet consists of is 70% lean meat, 15% of organ meat, 10% of bones, and 5% of fruits and veggies. Clipper will not eat fruits and veggies. So what I do is I get this ground meat, and I put pureed vegetables and or fruit. I'm doing vegetables this morning. I'll do a little bit of fruit tonight. I mix it up in his meat, and he'll eat it that way. I've tried to give it to him separate. He won't touch it. But if I make a meatball out of it, it's usually the first thing he eats. It's the first thing he goes for. The liver is a good organ meat to feed. But you don't want to overdo it, because liver is very high in vitamin A, and that can become toxic in your dog. I add eggshell to the meat for calcium. All of the vitamins that they put in kibble, the supplements, that's where they get all those from organ meat. Protein and more calcium from the bones in your bony meat. And this isn't the only type of meat you can give. You do want to give a variety, but I just want to give an example of what he gets in the morning. Every other day, and I'm probably doing this way too much. I'm starting out this way just to get him to where I want to be. Every other day, I crack a raw egg over his meal. With you want to try to give them as balanced as possible. They have to have the phosphorus. They have to have the calcium. So with all this protein and stuff, you have to add that too. It's balanced over time. So this is what I'm going to give him today. I was kind of scared when we started this, because we never really let him have table scraps or anything, that he just wasn't going to have it. He wasn't for it. But he's actually done quite well. Normally I would just crack this eggshell over this. This is a store-bought egg, and I don't generally do this, but it's what I have on hand right now. The eggshell that's in there is farm fresh egg. We do have chickens as well. I don't like using store-bought eggs that are crushed up for him, because they wash these eggs at the supermarket with something that is toxic for dogs. So I just don't give it to him. I'll give him the farm fresh eggs. I crush a bunch of them anyway, because I use it for my chickens as well. They also need that added calcium when I don't have oyster shell to give them. Now I'm about to walk outside to give him this. Just a second. He likes eating outside, I think, because everybody leaves him alone. There's your breakfast, baby. And you can watch him. I don't know why there's a fork in my yard. My kids are ridiculous. He may not even eat in front of me. He's very, very weird. No, he's going to eat it. See, told you he'd go for the meatball first. Get it! The cat likes to watch him. I think she's ready for a raw diet as well. But he'll snap at her if she tries to go and get it. Another concern is about the bones. That was something that I was very worried about because I was always taught that you do not give your dog any type of splintering bones like chicken bones, pork bones. Got to be very careful with them. But here's the thing. When bones are not cooked, especially chicken bones, they're very, very soft bones. They splinter when they're cooked. He will take that thigh right there and he will use his back teeth to crush it up to where he can swallow it. There's always, with food, there's always a choking hazard for your dogs. You just have to watch him. Like I said, he doesn't like me to watch him, but I stand and look out the window and I watch him until he's done eating, so I make sure he's okay. And that's probably too hypervigilant. He hasn't had a problem as of yet, but he seems to really enjoy it. It keeps him full all day. From the research I've done, the fats that are in this raw food are processed differently than the fats that are in dry kibble. So he's just getting a way better meal. He loves that egg too. He always saves the chicken for last, and then what he's going to do is he's going to pick it up and he's going to go try to hide with it. But he always licks his plate clean, and that was with vegetables in it as well. Again, a few highlights is you want to do balance over time. If you give, a little bit more of the ground beef one day, just give them a little bit more chicken with bones the next day. About over the course of a week, you want to stick to that percentage. If you want to keep them at the body weight that they're at, you want to do 2% of their body weight for the whole day. So we kind of guesstimate he's between 75 and 80 pounds now. You may not want to guesstimate. That's up to you. This does not have to be perfect. Your dog is not going to get sick and die if it's not. I give him 3 pounds of food a day, and I break that into 2 meals. Okay, so I do one in mid-morning and one in the evening. It's probably better to do it early in the morning and then earlier, in the late afternoon. But our schedules run a little bit different, and he's been fine with that. So yeah, I break that into 2 meals, so he gets 1.5 pounds. Look, he's about to take that chicken. 1.5 pounds for each meal. Occasionally I will add in fish. You definitely need those omega-3s. Sometimes when I don't have fish, I'll add in some coconut oil, like a teaspoon of coconut oil. That's getting his vitamin E and his omega-3 fatty acids. I am going to go to the store tonight and get a can of either sardines or mackerel, and I'm going to add 1 ounce to that every day that he gets to start getting that vitamin in him as well. Right now all I have is rainbow trout, and that's good and all, but it's really sardines and mackerel are kind of the way to go. And that's which way I am going to go with him. You see how he's using his back teeth to chew that? That's how he's going to break down that bone. Never, ever, ever give your dog cooked chicken bone. It does splinter, and it can kill them. You don't ever want to do that. But he's really enjoying it. He loves it. And he's older, too, so you would think that his older teeth would be giving him problems, but it doesn't. He does good. And maybe when I do the haul where I break down his meals for the week, I'll do another video so you guys can see just how you do that. Good thing to keep in mind if you're wanting to do this is to think of how exactly they eat in the wild. If they were to catch a chicken, what does its body consist of, the whole chicken? You've got a lot of the meat, you've got bones, you've got organs, and if you're, it's really not that hard. I thought this was going to be a hard thing to follow, and it's really not. You're going to get the contents of whatever was inside that bird's stomach, which is usually foliage, berries, seeds, vegetables, whatever their grains that they're picking up out of the yard. Any animal that they eat, rabbits, they usually go after veggies. They consist of meat, bones, organs. So you got to think about that and what the percentage of that body is. And you want to try to mimic that as much as possible for your dog. Evolution has caused them to be able to process this in this way. Their digestive systems are different than ours, and it's perfect for this diet. If you have any questions, just put them in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them the best that I can. I know you guys probably see that thing dangling off of Clipper's leg. We've got to get him back up to the vet. That is a skin tag. It's got to be clipped off and sewn up. But recently, like I said, he was very sick, emaciated even from the food allergies that he was dealing with. And the vet wanted us to get him back to health before we started dealing with, any type of incisions, anything like that. So he's done. Plate's clean. You can see that this is a diet that works, and now he's going to go roll around and play. Happy dog. And this whole rolling around thing, before we started this diet, I have not seen him do this. He now has the energy and what he needs to be a happy, healthy fur baby. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share it, and I'll be coming back with more. Have fun. Have a great day. Bye.